about a dozen temples around the Toronto area. So it's ever increasing. And his leadership is definitely inspiring, and he leads by example, and he gives. I've actually written a small poem because Maharaj loves poetry, and so I thought I would try my hand at it. So this is to Bhaktimarga Swami. Every day, much like the sun, you have traversed our vast Zone 1. Your smile, bright as the sun, is contagious and enthuses everyone. You travel to all Zone 1's parts, touching each and everyone's hearts. You encourage all to Swami step dance, thus giving all a back to Godhead chance. May you have many more years to roam before Lord Krishna takes you home. Hare Krishna.
Sounds freaky. My name is Purnamasi Devidasi. I was initiated in Vancouver Temple. As I moved in, I was kind of what you might call associated with babies, and I'm not sure if it was January or February. But anyway, early '93, and then at that time, in Vancouver Temple, the Jagannath deities have been installed in the fall of '72. And as soon as they were there, they had given 7 initiations to 3 of the devotees there, so there had to be at least 5 Brahmins to worship Krishna in the proper way. So as soon as that was done, devotees started just flowing in. It was like, often it was 2 or 3 a week, new devotees living in the temple or outside, but it was just, and soon, within a couple of months, we had to move to a bigger temple. And then my initiation was one day after Radhastami. The devotees who had not been to see Radha Krishna deities at all yet went to Seattle. The Radha Damodar class was there. And beautiful Radha Damodar, who they had to explain to me, like, yeah, Jagannath, or but there's Radha Krishna. And it's like, what? No, Krishna's Jagannath and Balaram. Anyway, we went there, and I knew my letter, initially had arrived a week before, because saying that Srila Prabhupada has accepted myself, and the devotee who was given the name Puja. But Balaram wasn't there for a few days for some reason. One devotee kept running out, waving this letter at me, and saying, "But Peggy," whatever, Bhakti and whatever we were called in, I know your name, I know your name. And I thought he's going to tell me, and then it's all going to fall apart, that's improper. And his name was, he's a very little kind of elf-looking devotee. And he's still serving from that day, so before I was there, till now. He helps look after Tulsi Devi now. What's his name? Definitely getting older. Anyway, he didn't. He was just teasing. But we went to Seattle, and there was going to be a large. At that time, I've never heard of this, but for me, 10, 12 devotees were being initiated. Radha Damodar on Radhastami. And I was like, I know that my leaders there. I said, I want. Bhagavad went, no, many new devotees. Hardly anyone here has ever seen a fire sacrifice. Okay, got it. I can get long-winded. Anyway, so I was sitting there at the corner, and about 20 years later, in Vrindavan, everybody said, "Oh, Harimo, we were initiated together." I went, "No, there were two of us in Vancouver." I said, No, Seattle, you were there. It's like you were growing in the, you were almost on a lap. I said, "I'm sure it was, but no, I just wanted it to be." So he said, "Well, I guess you got two then." But anyway, to cut it short, if I can do this, early days, I had not read much at all. I met the devotees, found out some basics, and some of the basics were taught me by a 3-year-old named Jacob, and I got a couple of times at the temple. I looked at it, and he said, "See that grass over there? That is just the body, spirit, soul. See that tree? Spirit, soul. Same as you, same as me, and just different body coverings." And he was a big kid, I thought he was 5 or 6. I said, "Jacob, how old are you?" He said, "I am 3. 3. And that was aside. I just thought, if this kid, and it wasn't like he was parroting something he'd been told. Like he understood that every living entity is spirit soul, and he knew I was new, and he was telling me, helping me to understand, okay, everything I like so far, this is the teacher. This kid is unbelievable. So anyway, I started doing at that time there was Harinam almost every day going out downtown Vancouver. And then however new you were doing Harinam and distributing. So I knew very little philosophy, but we had the trilogy, Krishna book trilogy, pale blue. Number 1 was Krishna with Radharani in a bright red, beautiful dress. And Prabhupada starts the introduction. People ask, "Who is this beautiful girl or boy?" I heard class, I listened to Prabhupada, but I really didn't know a lot of philosophy, so I was just distributing like crazy. Montreal would order thousands of volume 1 Krishna book. In the front was George Harrison's little book saying a brief. It ended up with Krishna is love, love is Krishna, George Harrison. And I was just really like, the Beatles, George Harrison? Yeah, my favorite one. I'd show them, they'd take the book, give money, and that was pretty much my mantra. And then, and a lot of BTGs and other things too. And as Prabhupada said, "Well, I know nothing but Krishna." No, you know Krishna's God? That's more than everybody else out there. So I would just be what I heard of it. And then within a few months, our GBC was Jagadish Prabhu for Canada, and his wife Lakshmani came to visit Vancouver, and Radha Gopinath had just been installed in 72, so a few months before. Lakshmani had many pictures of the deities there, and she was sitting in the front hall showing some of the women the pictures. And I went over and knelt down, and she came to this one picture. It was Gopinath. He had, I could see it in my mind, Thursday. He had a velvet, dark blue turban. He had a rose tucked right behind this, and when I saw him, it's just like, wow, incredibly beautiful. And this is a saying I'm being too long-winded. Anybody got to watch? How long? What have we got? Like 1 minute?
It's supposed to be.
Yes. Okay, I'm supposed to be done. Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know what they call it, ADD, ADHD. I talk a lot. Okay, skip 2. I was going to get married to someone there. I said to the temple, "I'm not ready, no way." Okay, well, as long as you got to send somebody away. So they traded me to Toronto, and Vancouver got a wonderful devotee named Puja, now I can't get her name, and her daughter. Anyway, and then in Toronto, tried to speed it up here. Got there, doing some service in the temple, but very soon, as I said, and you notice I talk a lot, that's Sankirtan, that's your thing. So we did that. Virjava and Srila mentioned distributing in one place was mentioned, New Orleans. So at that time, it wasn't just that we were looking for a bigger effort. The Drajvi temple was bursting at the seams. It was like if you got in late, you'd have to move over a couple of stories to find a place to lie down sideways. It was really that full. And they couldn't find, saw the temple, like, whoa. Prabhupada came, showed Prabhupada the temple, and he was saying, looking at me and saying, oh, this would make a nice, but no, too much anxiety. And he looked, oh, this would be very nice for blank. No, too much anxiety. And through the whole temple like that. The next day, or soon after, there was a program at the Vyasa house. Prabhupada said, in my memory, it may not be as everyone else's. I remember Prabhupada sitting on a couch. Uddhava Shloka was on the other side of a tea coffee table on the floor, and they were talking about the temple. And Prabhupada said, that would be a wonderful temple room. And Uddhava Shloka said, yes, Prabhupada, but too much anxiety. And Prabhupada, I remember this, so whether it's wrong, find out from others. But Prabhupada said, with his hand went, there must be anxiety, bang! he said, 2 men's program, Sankirtan parties were sent out, and 1 women's. I was on that. It was,
me and the Yoja party.
A Yoja party.
You and Kirchor and Sri Marie and Rudrani.
And
Bhaktimarga, yeah.
And they would send some of the temples down every week or 2, like knocking down different people would take turns. And in New Orleans, I won't get into it. There's a whole other story. Anyway, I want to just mention Bhaktimarga. When I moved in the temple, I think maybe a few weeks, anyway, I was initiated, I was standing in front of Radha Gopinath chanting, and this boy had, I think he was in some art school or something. Anyway, he was trying out the temple, and we were thinking, oh, I hope he makes it. He seems like a very nice young boy. I was a few years older. I joined at 25 or something, like 19, 20. Anyway, I was standing in front of the deities chanting, and this young boy came in on the business to Prabhupada, to the front, oh my God! Because at that time he had hair beyond shoulders, and he came and he was clean shaven, and I was like, oh my God, he decided to stay! And he can't run up and, pat on the back or anything, but I just thought, so nice, he seems like he'd be really good devotee. And as we see, I was right.
Thank you for the message. We'll limit our talks from 3 to 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
I'm not a very big talker. I can tell you all kinds of stories, though. One of the little things that came to my thoughts here while my sisters, all my godbrother and sister, is they did so much in the beginning of our Krishna movement. We were a skeleton crew. It wasn't a mega crowd. It was a handful of very determined people who all had one special quality that attracted me to this Krishna movement. and they were happy. They were all a bunch of happy people. And back in those days, the Vietnam War was ending, draft dodgers, drums with them, everything, hippies all over the place. And I had noticed in all this that people weren't very happy. So I was looking, well, where are the real flower children? Where are the happy people in the world after all? And then I met them. And all of my God, I thank them here very much because they're the ones who inspired me to take up this Krishna conscious movement. Go out and chant, throw flowers at people, and what a gas. What a gas. I remember being down on Young Street several times in Kirtans, weeping, dancing, going crazy, having such a great time. There was no anxiety in us. The people who were even gathered around us, well, they might have been having a few problems. After hanging around with us for a little while, the smiles. So, just to make everything short, I have to thank Srila Prabhupada. I did meet her several times in my life. I never had real personal conversation with him, but I always seem to get awful close. So, one thing that Srila Prabhupada did do, and you are all the testimony to the success of what he came to this country to do. He made happy people. All kinds of happy. That's what I think about. That he was the person that could make me happy. When I saw him one day, he stopped and looked right at me, right in my face, just close. And he said, "Hare Krishna." And it melted my heart. He was a happy person. He didn't know me, he didn't have to say anything, but he said, "Hare Krishna." And that changed my whole life. From that moment forward, I was determined, I'm going to just be one of those happy guys jumping around with flowers, wearing a bed sheet. He means bed sheet. There was no beautiful memory of doing it. They were bed sheets from Walmart. And we wore them anyways, so we were determined. But yeah, so I thank you about many, many times. I could never say thank you enough for what he did for us. He brought us all together. My family today, there you are, brothers and sisters galore. You're my family. He wanted all of us to come together and live in a house that we all could be happy together. And that's exactly, here it is, what, 40, 50 years later now? Well, I'm not yet older. Here it is all this time later, and all I do is see it growing, growing, growing. Every year I go to rock the ushers around the country, happy, happy, happy Canadian people everywhere. And if we just keep doing this, I estimate, could be wrong, I estimate it'll only be a very short time down the road, and the whole country is going to be chanting Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Karuna. Now I'll hand the mic over to Shubha Vilasparu, and he'll also keep it in the show.
Srila Prabhupada ki! So I want to keep it very short. We are here till Bangal Aarti, we can keep going, but I want to keep it short. But Maharaj, I want after 51 years of association together.
Jai.
I was in Canada for a few years, I never saw a devotee anywhere. And 1968, I'm driving eastbound on Bloor Street, and I come closer to Amity Road. On the north east corner, I see a church, and the three white people with mardanga and the chanting. I don't care, I got a ticket from police, I stopped the car, and I'm looking all over. There's a movie shoot going on. Nothing going on. I had a Polaroid camera, which was the old camera when you take it out, and I made sure the picture came out in 1 minute, and I take it home, and I showed to Ashalata. She said, you're crazy. No possibility. She would have this is Lanka Nagari. How can a devotee here? So after finding few days, every lunchtime I go around and find the devotees. And in 1968 I go to 40 Beverly Street. That was the first temple of ISKCON. And there I knock at the door. And who opened the door? Jayapataka Swami. 19-year-old, skinnier than him. About my size, so you figure that out. So we met him. And then when I met Prabhupada, that was the first surrender of the first sight. It was just people, Maharaj gave a lecture, other people give a lecture. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very merciful, Nityananda more merciful. But they're no more merciful than Srila Prabhupada. The proof, here the proof of Prabhupada, all the people. I had an association, so my personal association, we can go on and on. Maybe someday we'll have a session, couple of sessions, that what the association we have with Prabhupada. I met him in Chicago, Detroit, Vrindavan. He came to our house in Toronto twice, 75 and 76. I was not a big instrumental in chanting and giving all these different classes and this and that. When I met Prabhupada in Vrindavan, he's sitting under the Tamal tree at 6:30 in the evening. They were all sand. At that time, there was no wall outside. And Prabhupada was sitting there, like Maharaj sitting, I'm sitting on the floor. Prabhupada said, speak, bol. I go back like that, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, this was not a deal. He said, the deal was 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds. What this? You're giving a lecture. He said, Suna nahi hai. Bol. So I spoke. I had nothing else to talk. I talked about Prabhupada. We were young too someday. You know, these different So I go to room. Kaisa tha, Prabhupada said, bahut acha tha, very good. They listen from him. All the people, Indian people, but listening from you will believe that the devotees are real devotees. No, that night they didn't get all this, that was not true. And when Prabhupada came, I can go on and on. His association, Ashalata says something. But the most important couple of incidents happened. When Prabhupada came in 75, when he came in, they used to single doors. They don't double door in big houses now. We had 22 Medina Crescent in Scarborough. He came, devotee, 50 devotee outside. And he comes in. He's sitting like this, and I'm here. Ashalata is standing, there's a movie there, a picture there, and I had to wash his feet. There, my guru is here. So I had the same way, I had a towel here. So I'm washing his feet, and Ashalata is speaking to me in Hindi, kept going. And Prabhupada realized it after about 7-8 minutes, I don't know how many minutes. Because after washing his feet, I was not using the towel. I had little hairs that don't get too little bigger than this. So I kept going like this. And he said, he hits me, Maskar. Stop it. So my service was whatever he wanted me to do, we did it. Help him this coming back and forth. The only second incident was there. Prabhupada said, how are you chanting coming around? Kaise chanting kar raha? No problem. These devotees have all kind of this. They can't chant, chanting. I used to live in Scarborough, that I go to downtown, 390 Bay Street. I said, Prabhupada, drive for 1 hour, keep chanting on the way, while I'm driving, and 1 hour to go back. He said, yeah, now you sit down and chant. So this was Prabhupada, and so much association with him. His friend Indresh, my son, he used to sleep in Prabhupada lap. We can go on and on, so many incidents. So thank you very much. Just remember, if you serve Prabhupada, keep Prabhupada in the center, there's a guarantee that your life will become successful. So put your hands up and thank him who brought the Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki! Little louder. Look, Prabhupada came on Jalduta 35 days. Old man sitting, 2 heart attacks, and here we can't say Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai!
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I don't know where to start. And as he said, we started ISKCON movement in 1968. And he said he brought the picture of the devotees at home, and I didn't believe it. So then he took me to show them. So I went to street. Which street was that? These are the devotees. Yeah. Okay, Boulevard and yeah. Okay, so he took me there. I saw them, so I believed him. Truly devotees are there. From there on, we started going on to the temple. Now our spiritual journey started that when we came from India. In India we don't have pick your fruit and pick your strawberry, pick this, pick that. But in here in Canada, we can go to the trees, farms, pick this, pick that. So when I was very young at that time, so we used to go to pick the apples, pick this and pick that, climb on the trees, lots of apples and bushes. But what to do with them? I told him, let's take to the temple. So we are just taking the apples and bananas, something this, something that. So that.
That's very important. We have 3 bushels.
Okay.
It's my turn.
I won't take it, but you want to.
So we used to take the apples and fruit to the temple so devotees can make the pies or use them, eat them, whatever. So that was picking my apples, bananas and strawberries. That was my spiritual journey started. From there on, 1968 to till now, we are trying to serve Srila Prabhupada whichever way we can. From that on, 68 to till now. So I have lots of things to tell, but it will take some time. Full session. Maharaj. We know Maharaj from 1973. And since that time on, I can appreciate him so much that he is serving Srila Prabhupada and his movement very sincerely without deviation. He is always on the go, going here, going there. We hardly see him in the temple. When he goes, oh Maharaj, you're back. So this is the way he is serving, and he makes very nice dal.
My first doll that ever made, I did for Prabhupada. In Atlanta, Georgia.
So Maharaj, thank you very much for serving Prabhupada and keeping us all together. Hare Krishna.
Blood will come out and he won't go to the doctor. He will put a bandage on and start the service again. This is what a service is, right away.
Thank you very much. We have 2 more devotees who would like to say something, and we'll start with Manoharini. Hare Krishna.
No, I asked them, would you like to sit or sit down?
No, stand up. It's okay. Okay, so when I was very young, I would say maybe 10 years old, I used to ask my mom about the Bible. And I had so many questions about God, and it didn't seem like it was really answering my questions. And then once when I was 15, I was at my brother's house, and he had Back to Godhead magazine. And I opened the cover, and I saw Srila Prabhupada's face. And I just said right away, this person is so beautiful. I have to know more. I have to know more what he's teaching. And so my brother and his wife would take me to the Sunday feast. And I started reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. And I, learned more and more about Krishna, and this is what I was looking for since I was 10 years old or younger even. And so I joined the temple in Chicago. I was 75, 76. I was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 77 in Chicago. And then I was there for, I started going to the O'Hare airport, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, and that was bliss. That was bliss. Before I was just cleaning the kitchen, the temple, and I would really get into scrubbing the temple. But I always wanted to go out on Sankirtan, and the devotees would say, "Oh, you're kind of new. You should wait a bit. I want to go on Sankirtan." And so my desire was fulfilled. And a few years after that, I came to the Toronto temple. And again, I was doing Sankirtan, Giri Jadava's Sankirtan party with some other Matajis. And but then when I was back at the temple, I would offer our tea, get to do some cooking when I finally learned how to cook. I didn't know how to cook at first. I learned how to cook, and I would make a very big effort to make really nice things that Krishna would accept. Because when I first did not know how to cook, this devotee, he was the what do you call it? The one in charge of the temple. Temple commander. The one who made the altar, the one who did the altar, the iron work. He and his Murali Krishna. Murali Krishna wanted me to cook an offering. There was no one there, and I said, I don't know how to cook. And he said, you can do it. You can do it. And so I went into this, and I tried to follow what the other people had made, other devotees had made. And then I made this bread cake, and it was soggy in the middle because I didn't know how to mix everything. And I remember Pujari, I don't know who Pujari was, but he came out and he said, "This is not offerable." And I felt so bad, and I said, I will never ever go to the kitchen again. I thought it just horrible. I will never do that again. And so, but then Murali Krishna said, and then I said, "Mataji, I want you to cook this offering. You can do it. You can do it." I said, "Crazy. I can't cook." But anyway, I started learning. I started learning, and I became a very good cook because they were I loved all the services that I got to do in the temple, and Maharaj would always encourage me. Was it you who encouraged me to dress the Srila Prabhupada murti? I kind of think it was you. And I would dress Srila Prabhupada murti in the mornings, and I would always think, how would Prabhupada like for his chadar to be today? Oh, would Prabhupada like it around his shoulders, or Prabhupada like it over one shoulder? And I try to concentrate, how did Prabhupada want me to dress him today? Anyway, Hare Krishna.
We have one last devotee here, Shori, who will wrap it up and keep it nice and short and sweet.
Hare Krishna. Hare I had a very good time with Prabhupada. 15 days I stayed in Vrindavan. I will speak only 1 minute for Prabhupada, couple of instances which happened with Girija, my Bhaktimarga Swami, and other devotees, they all know it. In Vyasa, Jagdish Maharaj, I came 71 in Girard Street. Before I was trying to know when I came 70. In university they had a temple there, I was trying to go there. I didn't find the temple, they moved to Girard Street. It was the end of 71, I think, 72 beginning, when Prabhu, Bhaktimarga Swami, Maharaj joined at that time. So I was the only Indian one. There was, who joined it later on, some people came. And 71, these very big incidents happened. Ilya Pari and Jagdish Maharaj, I just got in discussion because I used to read Bhagavad Gita every day. Because we used to read Mahabharata. I still remember Shlok one Mahabharata. It said, Narayan Namaskritam Devi Saraswati Vyasa. So those I am reading Idam Bhagavatam Prana Bhagavati Yutam Shlok. So I reading Mahabharata, then I was talking to Ilya Pari Jagdish Maharaj. There was one devotee who was taking class. He said, I used to get sometimes, when I was not eating meat, but sometimes I get a chance with my friends to eat eggs and that thing. So I discussed with him, what is the meat eating? He said, meat eating is such, you have millions and millions, billions, you're taking birth and death. And you are taking Hatman Isha. Jealousy is the biggest thing which you're taking birth and death. You are stuck on. He told me, I am not stuck on. We start discussion, and he got very mad at me. So I go to Jagdish Maharaj. Your devotee got mad at me. He said, get up from the temple. You molest my devotee and God covered me. I got out. Said, Giriyada Maharaj, I had a good sword, come and eat him, my sword with you. He said, come back again. So I went again in the temple. I surrendered to Prabhupada and his devotees the way they were working, and then Yajapari, Jagdish Maharaj, some other devotees, I used to drive Uttam Shloka, a car, and selling the books. And books selling goes 20 miles, 30 miles, go, and then by coming back, I don't know the road, they forget I'm sleeping. We back and go from one. It's not happened 1, 3, 4 times. And we have to go 1.5 hours. I have to drive half an hour to go 450 miles. Several years I was doing. My friends were implied, I made them devotee. Even my French teacher, I made a devotee too. She was coming too. Hare Krishna, that's enough. Bhaktimarga. In the school, just like I'm driving, he walked from here to Vancouver 2 times and not feeling any pain and suffering. Hare
More time.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, sorry. Okay, thank you so much.
Accept my mistake.
Thank you.
Massaging feet of the devotee when you walk, so much fun.
A little later. Thank you so much, all the great devotees here from the 70s who to share some of your stories. You have a lot more to say. Now that you've had a chance to meet some of them devotees, or at least to hear them, you have an opportunity to go on a little bit later on and mingle with them and so on. If you want some of our leaders here who are running the centers and the GTA area, you're at your liberty to ask them to come to your center and give a class or two. Well, why not? They have a lot to share. They have a lot to give. So the next little part, we're going to, would you like to explain it, Rukmini? Okay, great. And you can tell whether people should stand up or